Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Brian from SunBrite to review the current models of outdoor TVs. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick, and thanks everyone for joining today. I grew up in the Midwest, so I know this is the perfect time of year where you start dreaming about the outdoor weather, as well as your customers do the same thing, and it's a perfect time to start talking about these types of subjects. Makes summer feel much closer. So I'm going to go just briefly through about what SunBrite is today, get into some trends, because I think we'll find that the trends are really driving in favor of outdoor television. Go into some of the fallacies of what is a true outdoor television versus people that want to put an indoor TV outdoors, product line review a little bit, go through some selling tips, and touch briefly on the commercial lineup, and then do some Q&A. So SunBrite invented outdoor TV. So back in 2004, the original owners of SunBrite decided that, hey, they wanted to be able to enjoy the same things they were enjoying indoors, from watching games, watching movies, things like that. They wanted to be able to enjoy them outdoors. So they actually invented the first weatherproof TV. It's almost 15 years ago, and thousands of installations later, we come to today. Snap AV bought SunBrite in 2015, and it's been a strong upward trajectory since then. You'll see millions or hundreds of thousands of TVs in the field that are SunBrite, and they've been out there for a long time. In fact, we had one just recently that survived Hurricane Maria. When the owners turned it back on, it worked perfectly, so no issues there. But you see anywhere from, Yankee Stadium to hospitality locations, including Fontainebleau in Miami, as well as residential homes in some of the top income areas. So there's a lot of TVs out there, good installed base, and a lot of happy customers. When you look at what's behind the SunBrite TV, there's really a very strong specialized design group. There's over 300 specialized electronic and software engineers behind the Snap AV, the SunBrite product. Anywhere from, we have groups here in Charlotte, we have the design center in California, and we also have lots of engineers and specialists over in Asia. Just to give you a quick example, we had a Roku issue that Roku made a change to their firmware, and it was causing every TV manufacturer a problem. Our design group our software group was actually able to fix that within a couple weeks and put out a new firmware version. So pretty impressive what that group can do. Also, our Premium Pro and Signature lines are manufactured here in Charlotte, North Carolina, in our 44,000 square foot facility. If you're ever in the area, feel free to get a hold of us. We'd love to show that off. And then every TV comes with the award-winning, our customer technical support, as well as the full show that all that has with their engagement, their service and support as well. So it's a very strong group behind the SunBrite Outdoor Television. I'm going to go a little bit into some of the trends and insights. There's a lot of data out there. I've just picked up some of it to show how important outdoor is to your businesses. If you look at the outdoor space, it continues to lead, and when we look at special function rooms, people are paying a lot of attention. They call it the outdoor living room. You hear it a lot of times, but it continues to grow in popularity. And it's not only is it popular from entertainment area for consumers, but it also has a strong payback. So people putting money into the backyard, whether it's the patio, the deck, those types of things, they know they can get their costs back when it comes to the resale value of their home. So encouraging them to invest in that and sharing that information with them just helps to offset the costs and things with doing an outdoor installation. This is an interesting one. This is International Casual Furnishings Association did a home trend report in 2018, and consumers are using their outdoor TVs for everything they can do indoors and enjoying it more. There's a strong enjoyment with people. Everybody wants to be outside when the weather's nice. One of the things that I found interesting, and we'll talk about a little bit later too, is that the top outdoor furnishing inspiration sources are magazines and newspapers. Social media is a big one, as well as friends and family. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more as ways that you could promote businesses or your business. But I think those are key things that came out of this report. When we look at the another survey here, the House Landscaping Survey, of 750 homeowners, 59% of those that upgraded their outdoor entertainment chose televisions to upgrade. So again, there's a strong need out there, strong interest from a consumer standpoint, and we have the right products. It's just getting the word out there and then using your expertise to hook up a nice entertainment system for them outdoors. This just came out the last couple of days. I just wanted to point it out. It's a CE Pro does an annual outdoor technology deep dive, and the integrators that were surveyed, there was a strong percentage that are expecting their outdoor business to grow. So if you find yourself not doing a lot in outdoors or not thinking about outdoors as much, it's definitely an area worth investing in. There's a lot of opportunity there. And I think, one of the things we were very proud of at SunBrite is that of the most installed outdoor brands in the survey, the SunBrite TV was the top one for video. In fact, Snap AV had 3 of the top brands there in overall. So let's talk a little bit about what is true outdoor television, because I know as dealers I've talked to, a lot of times you run into that question of, hey, why can't I just put an indoor TV outdoors? And then, you give them all the reasons that why an indoor TV or outdoor TV is a better choice, and they still say, you know what, if I can get one for $500 or $800, I can put 2 or 3 of those outdoors, and if they fail, it's no big deal. I'm still well ahead. But that's really not true, and I think those are the stories we want to continue to share with them of things that happen. So a lot of people will tell you, you know what, the room is covered, so I'm not really worried about the rain. I don't need to worry about water getting on my TV. But it's really not just about the rain. It's about humidity, temperature. Those are the things that make the electronics within inside the TV fail. And all electronics are the same. They're made up of similar components. And if you look at some of the major causes of failures, temperature, humidity are 2 of the top ones. And a failure is not just the TV not working. There's several stories of the TV actually, an indoor TV being outdoors, installed outdoors, causing fires that damage property. Overall, if you look at the statistics, there's $1.3 billion in direct property damage caused by home fires that have electrical failure. So it's not an area that consumers should be playing with. It's definitely not an area that we encourage anybody to install an indoor TV outdoor. I think even if you point out the manuals that show the warranties of the Sony and the Samsung TVs that say there's no warranty, it goes a little bit above and beyond that. If you look at what Sony puts in their guides, they prohibit it, and they prohibit it for a good reason, and that is a lot of times, in fact, the 2 instances that I'm aware of where house fires were caused, the insurance company came back and said that they would not cover the house because the product that was put outside was against the warranty. So the homeowner was not only out, the cost of the TV and any electronics, but they were out a lot more from a homeowner insurance standpoint. The other thing is a lot of the successful dealers that I've talked to about SunBrite, what they do is they make the customer sign a waiver of liability form. And I want to point that out to everybody. I think that's important because if the manufacturer of the TV is not going to be the pocket that the customer goes after, it's not going to be the insurance company. You could be liable, and so you want to definitely check with your insurance, your legal people. And like I said, I suggest you look at an opportunity to have them sign a waiver. That way you're clear, and it also makes them think a little bit harder about the installation, about not upgrading to an outdoor TV. So beyond just the safety issue, there's really more to the story here, right? If a customer wants that outdoor room, they want to be comfortable, they want to enjoy a premium audio and video experience. And that's what you provide as a dealer, not only indoors, but outdoors as well, as we talked about. Some of the common problems with viewing TVs outdoors is the direct sunlight, ambient light levels, and the glare that comes off of those TVs. Direct sunlight or ambient light a lot of times will dampen the brightness of the screen. That's why indoor TVs have higher brightness screens depending on the installation process or installation location. Exposure to direct sunlight can also cause what's called isentropic failure, and that's basically where the sun is directly on the panel a long enough period where it heats up the panel itself, and then the panel starts to shut down, so it blackens areas of the screen like you can see in the picture. This isn't a permanent situation. Once the TV cools down, generally it comes back and works, but again, it's not ideal. You're watching a game or you're enjoying yourself outdoors. Last thing you want is that TV to heat up. So that's going to be important not only for reasons not to put an indoor TV outdoor, but also to make sure as we go through the product line that you're choosing the right product for the right fit. So you're getting information from the customer on the location that it's going in and helping them to understand when they'll be watching TV and what they're looking for. So SunBrite, the solutions in SunBrite and a lot of the features that we'll go through here in the product line comes down to a couple of things. One is the brightness of the screen. Typical indoor TV is anywhere from 100 to 350 nits. One thing I want to point out about nits and the use of that term in the market is that is from a commercial standpoint or from a TV standpoint, outdoor TV standpoint, that is full-time, all areas of the TV, the brightness. You'll see some indoor TV manufacturers starting to use the term nits more and more. And what they're referring to a lot of times when they say 3,000 nits is a certain area of the TV at a certain point and a certain color, a bright color, a white. So that's not really comparable if consumers ever come back with that. A typical indoor TV is 100 to 350 nits. Our solutions start at 450 and then go all the way up to 2,500. 2,500 right now is more of the commercial side, but 450 to 750 really gives you that brightness, that gives you that quality viewing experience outdoors. The other thing is it's called high TNI, and that's what the coating or the treatment of the panel that allows it to be out in the direct sunlight and not heat up enough that it causes that isentropic failure. So we'll talk about our Pro Series in a minute, but our Pro Series has that type of coating on it. And then the other one that can be the most irritating, even in indoor situations with high ambient light, and that's the anti-glare. And so our product lines, our Signature and Pro product lines have different levels of anti-glare coatings on them so that you can view that TV from multiple angles in that ambient light and still enjoy the viewing experience. So just a little bit, just to kind of summarize here, why outdoor versus indoor. You have higher brightness, anti-glare. You have a warranty, 1 to 2 year warranty, depending on the product line. Indoor TVs, the warranty, more glare, less brightness, and then the protected electronics that we talked about. And then the last thing I always like to point out is all SunBrite TVs have a protected media bay. So that Roku, that Apple TV, or maybe the other components that you might want to put outdoors that are not outdoor rated, you can put into that media bay, and they are also protected as well. That is, again, not an option in indoor TVs. And if you really want to break it down into the dollars and cents, again, it's a strong reason for selling outdoor TV, and that is profit on selling an indoor TV is very low. Profit on SunBrite TVs, depending on the size, are a lot higher. When you start talking about having to go out and replace that TV when it fails, because it's not if it fails, it's generally going to be when it fails, depending on the conditions. Again, potential legal fees, loss of future business. Obviously, the customer, even though you've told them hundreds of times, they're still going to be dissatisfied. They're going to blame you. When you look at SunBrite, one of the things you have continued happiness from that customer, as well as his neighbors who give you that opportunity to continue to sell product, and then the savings and cost rolls. So a lot of financial reasons too that make sense to sell SunBrite TVs. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into our product line, and it breaks down into 3 basic product lines, but all SunBrite TVs, no matter what product line, are weatherproof, fully weatherproof. They can be outside in winter, they can be outside in hurricanes, they can be outside in summer heat, things like that, without a problem. They're all created with powder coated aluminum exterior. That only gives the TV that strength, but also the durability to hold up. It's designed to protect during humidity, salt air, insects, things like that. All fasteners on the outside and any of the hardware that's in our mounts and things are all stainless steel, so there won't be any rusting. Again, that cable entry system, that box is watertight, so it seals out the moisture. All TVs also come with that remote control, and then the RS-232 and IP control. So those of you that maybe were familiar with the Veranda series in the past, the version 1 did not have IP control, but the one we launched, version 2, back in October of last year, has IP controls with it. So I just wanted to point that out as well. So all of our products have IP control. As far as connections go, there's all the popular connections. HD-based T is also in the Signature series. So any type of media that your customer's looking for, whether it's a Roku stick, an Apple TV, or a more complicated system that you're putting together for them, you have all the connections right there in the back of the TV that are protected. So now I'm going to break it down into our series a little bit. So our Veranda series is our opening price point, opening value series, and it's really meant for full shade. And the reason that it's meant for full shade is the brightness of the TV, as well as it does not have an anti-glare coating on it. So what that does is this is best for patios, verandas, sunrooms, anywhere that isn't going to get direct sunlight and has that level of brightness. It's still anywhere from 4 times to 50% more brightness than an indoor TV. So you're still going to get that quality viewing experience, but you're going to want to step the customer up to others if they're going to be a little bit more in the sun or permanently in the sun. All of the this TV line has 4K HDR. So as your customers walking through any of the local electronic stores or looking in any magazines and they're reading about the latest technologies, this product has 4K HDR. We know there's not a lot of 4K content out there today, but customers also are looking for that latest technology. We'll continue to be the fast follower to the indoor TV manufacturers as they go with as new technologies become more and more prominent. The Veranda series does have 20-watt speakers in it, 2 of them. It also has a built-in amp. This is new in the Veranda 2 series. This launched back in October, so you can hook up an external soundbar to this product as well. The rear cabinet IP controls, powder coating frame are all things we've talked about that are in all of our TVs. And this version or this line is also compatible with all of our SunBrite soundbars, as well as the Episode outdoor speakers. Retail starts at $14.99 for these. Your cost as a dealer starts at $11.99. Next, we're going to get into the next version, and that's the Signature series. The Signature series is sometimes a little bit confusing or hard to understand for customers because what is partial sun? Does that mean it can't be out in the sun full time? Why? How do I explain partial sun? Well, again, partial sun is really about the brightness as well as the anti-glare coating. So the idea with the Signature series is it's 700 nits as opposed to 450 on the Veranda series, so it's almost twice as bright, and a lot brighter, obviously, than an indoor household TV. It also has an anti-glare coating on it, so this is going to be better for higher ambient light conditions where you're getting a lot of reflections and glares. This is also 4K. It will be HDR, 4K HDR resolution is today. Now you're starting to get into areas where a customer wants to match it. We have a white version, a silver version, and again, it's compatible with all SunBrite soundbars and Episode outdoor speakers. Starting at $27.99 retail, and dealer is starting at $1,999. So the profit levels are very good here. And then finally, we're going to talk about the Pro Series, and the Pro Series is meant for those full sun series, full exposure, no protection. That panel's out in the sun most of the day. Areas like pools, patios, decks that maybe aren't covered. There's 700 nits on the Pro Series as well, so it still has that high brightness for viewing. It has a higher anti-glare protection, and it also has what's called the high TNI panel. High TNI panel is what keeps it, if you remember, from having that direct sunlight on it and going into a blackout or isentropic failure. So it's meant to be out in the sun full time. It also has a thermoflow air ventilation system, so it keeps the electronics, keeps everything cool while it's out in that sun. The Pro Series has a soundbar included with it. Backing up real quick, the Signature series does not have any speakers with it. The Pro series has a soundbar with it, but what I'm learning from more and more of you guys as I talk to you is a lot of times between the Signature and the Pro and even the Branded, you're installing a professional outdoor system. So whether it's built-in speakers, whether it's outdoor speakers, soundbars, things like that, you're really hooking it into a much better system. So I'm not sure that soundbars are used as much. Again, compatible with all of our outdoor audio options and starting at $32.95 MSRP and dealers starting at $24.69. So that's kind of an overview of the 3 different product lines. Again, it's fairly simple. It's all about brightness, it's all about glare, and it's all about how much sun is going to be on the screen and temperatures and protecting the viewing experience there. The other stuff as far as the weatherproof and handling the elements of Mother Nature, all of the products are the same design, so they're all going to handle just as well. So one thing I want to do is also talk a little bit about some of the accessories that are available with the SunBrite televisions. So we have a full line of wall mounts, whether it's flat wall mount, tilting wall mount, or a couple versions of articulating wall mounts. So these are all outdoor rated. So there's a special coating on all these. They also use marine grade stainless steel hardware. So they're really meant to be out in the elements. One of the last things we want customers to do is spend the money to put a nice SunBrite TV out and then cheap out on the way they mount it, and then potentially if it's not meant for outdoor, it could fail, and down the road that causes obviously could cause issues with the TV as well. So I think it's very important that the outdoor rated, UL rated mounts are used as well. We also offer some different types of mountings, deck poles, ceiling mounts, different types of ceiling mounts, dual-sided ceiling mounts, and for use a lot of times in commercial applications. And then we have a line of tabletop stands. Tabletop stands are a little bit confusing. They're not meant to stick on a bench or something like you would with an indoor TV. These are still meant to be secured down. So whether it's on a deck or a table or something, they still need to be secured down because these are bigger, heavier TVs, obviously. Our sound options are immense. We have the standard sound bar, which is comes in multiple sizes and colors and fits works well with all of the TVs. We have a premium 2-channel passive sound bar with dual titanium woofers, 1-inch tweeters that really provides that exceptional outdoor experience. That's available in 2 sizes. We also have a line of all-weather in-ceiling speakers, surface mount speakers, and then the episode landscape systems as well. So really the choice is to not only enjoy your premium video, but also audio experiences outdoors with SunBrite and the other products that are available through AllNet. You can build a very nice system. So that's kind of an overview of the product line. If there's specific questions or answers that I didn't give during that, feel free, as Rick said, to put the information into the answer questions, and we'll do our best to get those answers to you. But I want to spend a little bit of time, some ideas and some thoughts in some different areas, and helping you sell outdoor for those of you that either maybe haven't gone into it a lot or that run into some of the things that commonly are used to for reasons not to purchase an outdoor TV. So a couple things is, always ask for outdoor spaces when coding. I know a lot of us are, specialists in the indoor area, providing the audio visual as well as some of the other opportunities. But always ask about the outdoor, because you may find that the customer hasn't thought about that, or that there might be opportunities now or even down the road. This is the perfect time of year to start marketing outdoor SunBrite and outdoor audio and TV. Because it's really when people start to think more about being outdoors. They look at that space. They may have been online and seen, different things they can do to their backyard. They may be planning to do some new things to their backyard. So now is a great time. Creating relationships, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but with the outdoor contractors, if somebody's going to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on redoing their entire backyard, the question of an expensive TV really isn't as hard to overcome, because they're already investing in it. They're probably financing it, and then they're definitely going to enjoy that outdoor space a lot more with a nice professional audio visual system installed in their backyard. So that's a good opportunity to create those relationships. Again, as I mentioned earlier, don't be afraid to ask those customers that insist on an indoor TV outdoor. I know it's hard to say no, you refuse to install it for them because you want to service your customers and you want to keep them as a customer. But to protect your business, having them sign a release form makes them think a little bit more, but also protects your business in the long term. Motivate your SunBrite customers to provide referrals. Referrals is a strong opportunity. We all drive down the street on trash day and look and see, oh man, who got the 80-inch TV? Or you hear your friend as you're out in the yard talking about how they're redoing their backyard, things like that. Well, use your customers to create new customers. So maybe you give them a free sound bar, or you give them a discount on their next installation that is smart home or audiovisual related to provide referrals to you. This is one of the better ways that I've heard that dealers continue to get a strong amount of business in an area. Always provide us with pictures and details of your installs. We love to see these. We also love to promote these, put them up on the SunBriteTV.com website. This also helps you promote your business. We'll tag you in it. If we use it on social media, we'll tag you. So it gives you an opportunity to brag a little bit about the great installs you're doing, as well as continue to promote your business. And then use social media to promote your business. One of the things we're doing more and more this year is using social media to bring that awareness of the SunBrite brand, as well as the outdoor TV category in general, to the masses. And Pinterest is one that you don't hear very often, or a lot. I don't hear very often, I guess, from a standpoint I did prior to this. But as I look into it more and more, it's the perfect setting for using SunBrite installations and outdoor installations, because people are looking to Pinterest. They're very visual. They're looking for, hey, what could my backyard look like, or what are my options and things. So that's one that we're going to spend more and more time on as well. And I would recommend, if you have the ability to use social media, you look at that as well. Just some ideas of, who are those good relationships to have for outdoor TV leads. Who knows which customers are doing what, or who could you partner with, or who could become an advocate for your business. Custom builders, pool companies, deck and patio, as we kind of mentioned. But even beyond that, sunroom companies, even though these are protected areas, they're very high bright areas. So a lot of times the veranda and even the Signature and Pro may be good options depending on how that customer wants to enjoy video. Landscape architects, they're doing the design work, getting in with them. Outdoor kitchen companies, anybody that's putting in an outdoor kitchen and going to that expense is planning on spending a lot of time outdoors. And I can guarantee enjoying a TV outdoors is also going to be in their plans. And then outdoor furnishing retailers. Retailers are generally not selling TVs, but they would love to recommend to their customers or be an advocate for the brand as well. So just some other areas of opportunity to grow your business. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, customer referrals. A happy customer that has a good audiovisual experience, is enjoying their backyards, having their neighbors over. They're a perfect sales tool for you to continue to advocate and grow your business. There's a lot of marketing tools available today on the Snap AV website under Outdoor Solutions. Tools to really help you with those referrals, help you grow your business, help you market to existing customers. There's videos, there's different brochures, but there's also a lot of social media and email templates, which are very easy for you just to plug your information into and send off to either your customer base or maybe a list of customers that are potential customers that you've gotten from purchasing it locally, things like that. So great opportunities. If there's other tools that you're not seeing here that would be helpful in marketing your business and selling your product, let us know. A lot of times developing these tools is an ongoing, continued process, and we want to continue to develop things that are going to help you grow your business, as well as promote the SunBrite and other opportunities for outdoors. And like I said, follow us on social media. So we're on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and also LinkedIn. We use LinkedIn a lot, even though you think of it more as a business to business type of social media point. I know we all look at some of the latest things that are going on as far as technologies go on there, and it brings about that awareness of the outdoor TV category. There's also a sales sheet. This is available on the website. We can also email this out to anybody. This is just a quick, easy reference chart. It's not really, I would say, as much of a sales tool as a reference tool for you. Breaks down the product lines pretty easily into the different types we've talked about. And then also on the back of it, it gives you the what are the compatible mounts, compatible dust covers, table stands, sound, premium sound, what are the part numbers and things. So just an easy reference tool for when you're quickly trying to put together a quote and provide the information to your customer. And then one of the things that we talk a lot of times about backyards and outdoor and stuff, but SunBrite products are used in the commercial space. I know a lot of our dealers also sell commercial as well as consumer-based stuff. So you'll find SunBrite TVs in a lot of areas, and really where we have the strongest brand awareness is in the hospitality and entertainment section. I was at the Digital Signage Expo and talked to several of our professional commercial dealers, and they have some really great stories and installations in zoos, amusement parks, hotel cabanas, sports stadiums. We're in a lot of the top sports stadiums, and other outdoor venues. Buffalo Wild Wings, their outdoor TVs are SunBrite. So as you continue to look at those types of opportunities in your areas as well, another great place to think about SunBrite. And then kind of wrapping up and getting ready to go into the question standpoint, really when you talk about outdoor, SunBrite is obviously the reason for this webinar and stuff. But if you look at what else is needed to really build out that true audio visual experience, the Stamp AV line, product line has all those different products that are needed. It's kind of a one-stop shop. And everything obviously is available through AllNet. I don't have to tell you how great the AllNet team is, not only from having all the products and information for you, but really being that expert to help you create, what is that ideal experience that you want, what products work best with what products and stuff. So I think it's, it's definitely a pleasure to have them as part of our team, and I know that they're definitely a big part of your business as well. So Rick, I know that was probably a lot of information in a short period of time, but I wanted to make sure we got through all the different opportunities and then open it up for questions.
Yeah, that was a good presentation. We do have some questions that came up. So going back a few slides, we started talking about commercial and hospitality. So the question that comes in is, in Resi, we definitely can lead with veranda because we've got a lot more shaded spots. For commercial, do you recommend Signature and Pro exclusively for those projects?
I would say yes, probably for the most of those, you're going to be in a more of an outdoor, high bright type of location. So the Pro is probably the first one I would start with. The Signature may, in certain areas that are full sun, have opportunities as well. One thing I do want to mention that I want to make sure that everybody's well educated on, and this is true of the entire industry. You can't take a TV that's designed for portrait and necessarily just turn it landscape. Always check, or I'm sorry, the other way around. Landscape TV turned to portrait. Always check with the manufacturer first to make sure those TVs are able to be turned. It's not as simple as just being able to view the screen. The way that the cooling of the electronics and things happen can easily burn that screen up. So we do have a line of portrait products that are part of our Pro line, but you need to inquire about those specifically.
Okay, perfect. Good for that. So one of the questions that pops up is, are there any plans for larger full sun TVs like 75 or larger than 75? Yes.
Yeah. In fact, not only full sun, but across the board. The trend in the past continues to trend bigger is better. It used to be the 43 seemed like a big TV. Now it seems like a small monitor in a lot of places. So 55, 65 are becoming more and more popular. 75 we have in the veranda and the Signature today. The Pro stops at 55, but we will by the end of the year have larger sizes in the Pro. And then we're also investigating in the other sizes as well. So yeah, stay tuned. We're definitely looking for bigger sizes in all of them.
Okay. Um, the Pro Series models, will we have 4K HDR panels on that series soon?
So HDR, let me address that first. So HDR is more of an indoor type of or a household type of technology. So HDR is really generally if that technology is in the less than professional panels, I'll call them. So you won't see that in the pro panels. But as far as 4K goes, yes, there is going to be a 4K version down the road. From a true commercial standpoint, 4K I know is not as important as it is in the household side because again, there's not a lot of content in 4K, but consumers liken that to the latest and greatest. So I would say a Pro TV today is probably going to give somebody the best product, the best opportunity to have good video outdoors, even without 4K. But 4K, as it becomes more and more popular down the road, and then even eventually 8K, will definitely be in the product plans.
All right. Is there any clarification on the timeline? Are we going to have those for this season?
No, we won't. Yeah, no, it'll be at the end of this year as far as when product lines. So we just recently refreshed the Veranda line end of last year. The Signature line will be refreshed towards the end of this year, and the Pro will follow that towards the end of the year as well.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we've got a specific question about Signature 55. It had a failure, it was repaired, and he said that it had a similar failure, and it's still under warranty. Just curious about the options to make sure it's covered, or can you define the warranty policy for SunBrite panels?
Sure. So for the Veranda series, it's 1 year, covers replacement, and then 2 years for the Signature and the Veranda. In that specific instance, I would, if you haven't already, make sure you're talking to not only your outside sales rep, if you have one for Snap, but also the inside team. Our inside team is great about getting all the information, diving into it, and then getting the technical team involved as well to figure out. It sounds unusual to me that you've got the same TV in the same location failing. So that's definitely one that I would recommend that a deeper team's diving into and asking questions around how the TV is being used, the electrical systems, things like that. Because there's obviously a TV can be affected by a lot of different systems within the house. Electrical currents, things like that, as well as the audio and video systems that are hooked to it. So sometimes the troubleshooting needs to go a little bit deeper than just the first point of contact and customer service. Although they know a ton, they know also to bring in more experts in helping that. So I would recommend to that person make sure that you're talking to your sales rep as well as the inside team and helping them or having them help you deep dive a little deeper.
Okay, thanks for that one. I'm writing down this person's name. I'm going to follow up after the call.
Perfect.
So, and I'll loop you in on that.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. So John is asking for some clarification on the sound bars and the amplifier, when the amplifier is necessary and where it works and where you put it.
Good question. So I can give you a little bit of detail, and we can always follow up with more detail as well. So all of the products don't need an external amplifier.
Can you back up to the slide that shows the sound bars again? Thank you.
So the Veranda series, in fact, all the series have built-in amplifiers, and so the passive sound bars can be used with those. There is, you can use a amplifier with those as well. It doesn't hurt to have an external amplifier with all the sound bars, but all the passive sound bars will work as is with the current product line. I don't know if that fully answers your question. It might be one that afterwards we can follow up. We could get more, our audio team a little bit more involved from the episode side and answering more specific questions, because that goes a little bit beyond my knowledge base, but I want to make sure we answer your question.
Okay, and then before we had the call, when you and I were offline, we were talking about the differences between standard and premium, and you said the standard has it's pre-terminated with the DIN, so basically you can plug it right into that amplifier output on the Signature or the Brand or the Pro, and the premium, it's available with or without, or you can use it with or without that pre-terminated. So if you want to connect it to a higher quality, like a zone amplifier or a multi-zone system or something like that, it's a little bit easier. And you said it's a much better sounding product with higher quality drivers and higher power.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The premium soundbar is much nicer.
Okay, but it still, if you wish to plug it in using that DIN connection, you can do that.
Correct.
You can use the premium off the internal amplifier or off external amplifier, correct?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. All right. So a question that came up is about ARC, but are there any apps inside of this? Are there any apps inside of these sets?
No, they aren't smart TVs, and I think that question comes up. I'm glad that question came up. That question comes up a lot, and there's defining a smart TV sometimes is a little difficult. We're always working on what is the latest technology that needs to go into a TV, but putting an app on a TV a lot of times, what happens is you have to keep up with all the latest apps, and it takes a lot of development time away from really building that premium video experience. And so it's almost 50-50. When I ask dealers, do you want a smart TV? 50% will say no. If I want a smart TV, I'll create one with the Roku or the Apple or whatever, hooking it into either the back or driving it through a MOI type of system. And then the other half ask for it. And I think a lot of times it's because the customer is equating a smart TV to being the latest technology, which is not necessarily true. The latest technology is the 4K, the HDRs, and the lower TVs, things like that. So today it's not a smart TV. It does have the Ethernet connection, but that's only for the IP controls. Down the road, will we have a version that is internet connected? Stay tuned. We continue to kind of look for what should we be putting our time into that's going to add value to our dealers as they sell the products and be useful. So always looking for feedback from the dealers as far as what would you like to see, and then what would be the value in adding those features.
Okay, and then also this is from the standpoint of commercial. Anytime you've got apps, you've got potential licensing issues where if we have a zone player like a Sonos or an Autonomic or another unit, we can make sure we're on the XM for Business or Spotify for Business or whatever with the licenses that are already paid for the companies that don't maintain an ASCAP or a BMI subscription globally for the whole building. And if a bartender or just a random person tries to be helpful and they set up a music stream service on a smart TV or something like that, they can actually get the company and get the restaurant or the facility in big trouble.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
The wrong content at the wrong time, so it's just more stuff for us to have to turn off and stay on top of.
Yep.
All right. So a question comes back. Can you go back to the page on the Signature series? All right, here. And do you have a comparison sheet that shows all models?
So we have this sheet that I showed here is probably the best comparison sheet that we have that shows all models. But if there's a need for one whether it's just a dealer education tool or whether it's an end user education tool, we'd be more than happy to put something like that together. I would just ask, maybe let you guys know what they're looking for, and we can put it into our marketing portfolio.
Okay. And then can you go back to the signature? All right. And then kind of review where it sits in relativity to stepping up for veranda or stepping down from pro. Because signature is signature. Which is the most popular product?
I would say the veranda is the most popular, but it's followed strongly by the signature. And I think as we educate more and more people, if there's ever a mistake in installing the wrong TV in the wrong location, it's also the veranda series being installed where a signature should be installed. So it's always one that we want to make sure we clarify as much as possible. A signature is going to be necessary where there's a higher brightness needed. So maybe the ambient light, maybe you have white countertops and bigger windows, and so you have more ambient light coming in. You have more opportunity for glare, even though it's not a full sun location, so it's not next to the pool where the sunlight's going to be on it all the time. It's really about brightness and glare when it comes to the Signature series. The Signature series also has a fan inside, so it keeps it cooler. It can handle higher temperatures. The Signature series is a great product. But I would definitely step up to the signature from the brand in those instances where the consumer has a little bit more ambient light, more glare, and they're looking for that premium viewing experience, but in those type of viewing situations. The signature also has the HD-based T, so if you're using external video sources and things like that, it's a good easy hook in from there.
Okay, thanks for the clarification on that. All right. There was we had to do this. I want to say we got Derek involved, and there was a little bit of a miscommunication. So the HD-based T does not. It's strictly for video signal, correct? The control still has to come over another path out to the set.
I don't want to answer that because I don't know the answer. So let me get a clarification, and I can send that out. I would imagine if you got Derek involved.
We looked into it, and I want to say that we found out that it did not. So, all right. Well, anyway, so hey, I've got a follow-up question on the HD-based T. So this is in regard to the media bay. Is the media bay, is it temperature controlled? Does the fan keep that space cooled as well? And are there any issues with putting like the little miniature cable boxes, or little miniature like DirecTV or Dish Network boxes, or like a T-Mobile Mini, something like that in that space?
So this question's come up recently a couple times. So it is not cooled with the fan, but it also, all of our electronic connections are there. So from a standpoint of being able to handle high temperatures, it's rated. I would say, use the best guideline is to use the temperature rating of the TV itself and what it can handle as far as the temperatures, and then make sure that whatever electronics you're looking to put in there, wouldn't exceed that type of temperature. But I do know that additional questions and clarifications have been asked for around, what can and can't be put in there. Are there opportunities to upgrade that in the future to more cooling, things like that. So I know we're working on some of that information as well.
Okay, and I looked into that as well. We had before MOIP came out, we also distribute another product for video over IP, and the question came up as to whether or not we could put an endpoint for that product in the media bay. And based on the specs, it was like it had a 5-degree higher operating temp range than the set did. So we called, and we were given the blessing to put it in there. So, and to my knowledge, that's still working. That was probably, 14, 15 months ago. So,
perfect. Yeah, and I think, and that's one of the advantages we have at Snap as well, because of all of our product lines. We're our engineers, our product manager, we're all in the same area. So I think if it's a Snap product, getting that answer is definitely easy to say, hey, let's double check this and get our experts involved in providing those additional bits of information. So that was great.
Okay. Let me see. I think we've answered all the questions that have come in here. Okay, clarification's been asked about the signature and the amplifier. So the signature also includes the amplifier, correct?
Yes.
It's built into it and it has that DIN output just like the veranda.
Let me get it. I don't know that it has the DIN connection. I need to get some more information on that, but
okay,
yes.
But it does have the internal amplifier.
Correct.
Okay. All right, that was a question that popped up here. I think that's it. So I've got a question for you. So you mentioned that the accessory that's listed as tabletop is more of a bolt down. Do you have a picture of that mount?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's right there in the bottom right. There's different versions of it. So there's some that have a little bit higher back as they attach to the TV and stuff.
Okay. I had the questions tab directly over it. Perfect. Okay.
I think, Rick, if there's any more questions coming in, one of the things I just want to point out as well, we get the information that the best product managers, we get our information from the dealers that are directly involved with the customers. And there's a lot of different points to it, not only from a customer standpoint, what are they looking for? What features would they like? But also how can we make the dealer's job easier in installing not only the TV, but also the systems in general. So I always, the best information always comes from, through either your sales team or our sales team, or even, direct. It shows and things like that. So I always love to hear that. I know a lot of times when you're out of a job, maybe you're not thinking about that kind of stuff, but please always feel free to forward that information through the teams, and it always gets back to us. That goes into our bucket because we definitely want to continue to build products that are easy for the dealer to sell and install, and continue to provide that experience to the end user.
All right, thanks for that. Hey, just a note of follow-up since we're on this mounts page. So one of the things that struck me as really important when you were mentioning the mounts is the fact that you include all stainless hardware in the mounts.
Yes.
So it's not only like the the issue as to whether or not the mount could rust or degrade to the point where there would be a failure, but it's also from an aesthetic standpoint. I don't know if any of you are were into RVing like my family was when I was young, but those dark gray and black stripes that run down the sides of every RV and every travel trailer that you see like in a campground or like in a resort or whatever, it's not because of the surface, it's because of the fasteners at the top, and they just use low grade like galvanized or just plain old basic steel fasteners. And my family, I'm from Northern Illinois, which is where a lot of screws are made, it's the threaded fastener capital of the world. Anyway, so my family, we pulled every single fastener out of ours and replaced it with the highest grade stainless fasteners, and we never had to wash our RV to remove the streaks. So anyway, there's plenty of instances like this. If you pay attention, the next time you go to bars or restaurants, you'll see streaks running down the sides of the wall where they have things mounted outside. And we've had this issue with, outdoor speakers for years. The guys will just grab whatever they can get at Home Depot and if you're doing a lot of outdoor installs, keep some stainless hardware in your bag. And, the fit and finish and the aesthetics over the long term will pay off, and it'll differentiate your company versus the company that has like rust streaks flying down the fancy stack stone or brick wall or whatever, or the custom millwork. Maybe they've got like some fancy wooden pergola or something like that they built, the last thing that they want is to have some, you know, cheap low-grade fastener putting rust streaks down the side of that. So
That's
I thought it was really nice that that SunBrite includes high-grade stainless hardware with all the mounts.
No, definitely, it's a great point.
Okay. All right, everyone. I think we've addressed all the questions that popped up. If anyone has any other quick questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box right now. And we'll give it, we got a couple more minutes on our allotted time. If anyone has any questions for follow-up, feel free to shoot me an email. Again, it's rick.murphy@allnetdistributing.com. All right. Well, Brian, thank you for your time today. And for everyone who's still with us on the call, thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us. We will follow up shortly with the promo for those of you who attended the call. And hopefully we'll have a great season with a bunch of outdoor audio and video. So we've been selling outdoor audio for a couple decades, but it's good that we've got a really good selection of reasonably priced outdoor video product to go with it now.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Rick.
Okay.
My pleasure.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We're going to go ahead and end the webinar now.